games. You make 137 points in the regular season. You have a new contract. How do you feel about that?
Well, it feels great. I'm going on year 8. I'm 29 years old. It feels like just yesterday I was coming to the Chiefs facility for the first time for that Monday Night Football game against the then Redskins. So I'm very grateful to be in this position. It's almost surreal to think about the success that I've been able to have. I put in a lot of work and effort to be the best, but there's so many times where I go out on the field, there's pressure, everyone's watching, and I don't really understand what's going on. It doesn't even feel like I'm kicking the ball, and I look up and the ball's going through the uprights, and I'm just very grateful for the success that I've had, and because of that, I want to make sure that I'm doing my best to use my platform and glorify God.
Harrison, it was reported that you actually negotiated this contract on your own. I just wondered what led to that decision, and what was it like having conversations with the front office with there's no buffer? You kind of hear their thoughts just as much as what you're trying to achieve.
Right. It was a lot of fun. My personality, I'm an introvert. I don't really like the attention. So even being an NFL kicker, it's kind of an odd thing for me. I don't like the loud noises, the attention that comes my way. But when I'm in the moment and I'm executing the kick, I'm so grateful for that opportunity. And I kind of treated this contract the same way. It would have been easy for me to, have an agent handle the contract, but I kind of attacked this fear, and I wanted to go out and have faith in myself to represent myself and do something that not a lot of players do. And it wasn't too difficult. I was an industrial engineer at Georgia Tech, so I can handle the spreadsheets and making sure I'm doing the right job with the counter offers and such and getting to a good deal. But it was a challenge that I took on, and I felt like going on year 8, I kind of understand the NFL well enough. I understand contracts well enough from being involved with the NFLPA. And obviously I have a great relationship with the front office here. And so I was able to negotiate my own contract over, 8-10 weeks, and I'm really excited about it. And I think it's empowering for players to know that no one's going to represent you better than you. So if that's something that a player wants to do, make sure you use the union and you use a good inner circle around you, but just know that it's possible.
What does it mean to you to be the highest paid kicker, at least for now?
Exactly, at least for now. You never know. In 6 months from now, there's going to be another kicker that tops it. But I think it's good to know that the kicker market is still moving forward. I think offense is definitely the strength of the NFL right now. There's a lot of points being scored, and kickers are part of that. Games are closer than ever, and Tucker signed his contract 2 years ago, and then Jake Elliott just signed and tied his. So I'm grateful to be able to move it up a little bit. And like you said, I know there's going to be a bunch of kickers after me that are going to continue to push it.
But at the meantime, is it meaningful to you to be the highest paid?
I mean, I'm sure I'll look back and it'd be cool to think about that at one point I was the highest paid kicker, and so much of my career I've just kept my head down and just taken it day by day, kick by kick. And I'm not the highest paid kicker on my own, right? I'm so blessed to have a special teams coach like Dave Tobe, to have James Winchester throughout my whole career, to start with Dustin Colquitt, who taught me so much as a rookie, to have Tommy Townsend, and now Matt Araiza is coming in. I've had a great support staff with the Chiefs and great fans, and I've enjoyed kicking in Arrowhead Stadium, and I'm thankful for Coach Reed and for the pressure that he puts on me in practice so that I can execute and be successful in the game.
You mentioned you are an introvert. Obviously, the offseason for you was you're in the news a lot. So, just how are you and your family how have you tried to emotionally move on and apologize for anything you said?
Right. So I'm definitely an introverted person. I try to, protect my privacy as much as possible. But as I mentioned, I've been in the league now 7 years, and I do have a platform. So with that comes people that want me to state what I believe to be very important. And so Benedictine College, who I have a relationship with, they reached out and they wanted me to give a speech. And I thought, man, I hate giving speeches. I don't want to. I just gave one at Georgia Tech. I don't want to be known as a commencement speaker. But I decided, if I'm going to go up and give a 20-minute speech, I'm going to pray about this. I'm going to prepare over months for this speech, and I'm going to stand behind what it is I'm saying. And I kind of look at the off season as a little bit of, maybe 5-month period where I can kind of just represent me as Harrison Butker as a faithful Catholic. And then obviously when it gets to the season, I try to focus as much as I can on football and not being a distraction from the Chiefs.
Have there been any discussions with anybody within the organization that may have had contrasting comments
Yeah, and I will say, I feel like this team is so close. Ever since that speech, there have been tons of conversations in the locker room with guys just connecting and trying to understand each other. And I think it's been a beautiful thing to see. And I think that's what's so special about sports, and it's so special about football. I mean, there's not many sports where you have 50 to 100 guys with a bunch of different beliefs, and we're all fighting together to win. So you have a bunch of different personalities, a bunch of different backgrounds, and we're all there together trying to understand each other and realize that at the end of the day we have one goal together, and that's to win football games.
Shortly after that, Andy and Pat and Travis on his podcast kind of came out and said maybe we have differing views, but still a teammate. What did that mean to you when you heard those type of comments?
I felt very encouraged to hear that. For them to be able to publicly say, Harrison made all these statements that maybe people don't agree with, but I've seen Harrison for 7 years come into work and be someone that is of good character. I think that meant a lot to me for him to say that, and I want people to know that no matter what I say, it might be the complete opposite of you, I'm still going to love you no matter what your opinions are, no matter how different we may be. I'm going to love you, and we're going to get along, and probably be good friends.
What empowered you to do the contents of your speech, and what empowered you just to kind of back that up at the gala and just be your full self or something?
Right. I've always been encouraged by people that state their opinions, and they're very bold in what their beliefs are. I think that brings people closer together, and like I said, in this locker room, we've become very close because guys are extremely open about their beliefs, and I think we are living in a better world if people are open and they're not afraid to share their viewpoints. And I feel like, again, 7 years in the league, having this platform, I just decided, there's things that I believe wholeheartedly that I think will make this world a better place, and I'm going to preach that. And if people don't agree, they don't agree, but I'm going to continue to say what I believe to be true and love everyone along the way.
Hold on, guys. We got time for a few more. We'll go to Sam first. Go ahead, Sam. We've gotten a lot of feedback. You mentioned talking to teammates, I'm sure family, and some Catholics didn't agree with what you said. Has anything that you received as far as feedback changed what you said, changed your thoughts on what you said at all?
No, and I've appreciated all the feedback. I know when it comes to football, I don't really look at the comments, good or bad, towards me, but with it being the off season and stating a lot of these things, I was really curious as to what people would be saying back to me, and I respected all the viewpoints. But in terms of what I said, I prayed about it and I thought about it, and I was very intentional with what I said, and I stand behind what I said. And I really believe if people knew me as a person and understood that it was coming from a place of love and not a place of trying to attack or put people down, that I only want the best for people, and that's what I was trying to say there. And I think the people that were in that gymnasium all understood what I was saying.
Along those lines, you say not putting people down. Some people obviously interpret that as putting women's value down, particularly in the workforce. What was your response to this?
Yeah, I mean, I think my whole career I've talked about how I'm a husband and I'm a father before it comes to me as a kicker. It's something I've always preached. But then when I use that to talk about women and I say that they should embrace and love being wives and being mothers over their career, I think then it gets construed that I'm trying to put women down, which I'm not at all. I love women, I love my wife, and it comes from a place of love. My wife had never heard me speak publicly, and she was there for that moment, and she was up in the background in one of the offices up there, and I was getting emotional looking at her crying and understanding that she has sacrificed so much for me. She has completely changed her life around, and she has made sure she is focused on being the ultimate wife and the ultimate mother, and I love her so much for that. And I see how happy and excited she is day to day to wake up and embrace that life. And she pushes me to be a better husband and a better father and focus on my 3 children and focus on her over maybe trying to be the best kicker I can be out on that field.
We'll go last one, Nate. Go ahead.
In June,